Welcome to Tired Mommy Revival. Hey mama, are you running on coffee fumes? Feeling like brain fog, fatigue, and anxiety are running the show? Do you wake up dreading the day ahead, already overwhelmed by the endless to-do list and unsure how you'll make it through? Do you long for the energy to enjoy motherhood and care for yourself, but feel stuck and unsure where to start? Let me remind you of something life-changing. You were created for more energy, more clarity, more joy. Hi, I'm Jerusha, certified holistic wellness coach, wife and mom to 2 wild boys and 1 baby girl in heaven. I know the exhaustion you're feeling because I've been there, barely making it through the day, relying on coffee and chocolate to survive, and wondering why nothing I tried ever made me feel better. Then, God stepped in and revealed a powerful truth. A woman's body is beautifully and uniquely designed to thrive. When we align with how God created us, we can boost our energy, bust through fatigue, and step into the vibrant, joy-filled life He has for us. Mama, I'm living proof that it's possible. These days, I wake up refreshed, nourish my body with intention, and navigate the chaos of motherhood with patience and peace. Most days. And I want to help you do the same. If you're ready to swap exhaustion for energy, brain fog for clarity, and guilt for grace, you're in the right place. Each week, we'll dive into practical strategies, faith-filled truths, and empowering tools to renew your health, body, soul, and spirit. Are you ready for this? Let's do it, mama. If you've ever found yourself hiding in the pantry with a chocolate bar or a pint of ice cream, sneaking a few bites before your kids come and discover you, just trying to get through the chaos of a day, I see you. I've been there. And while that sugary snack might feel like a lifeline in the moment, today we're going to talk about what it's actually doing inside your body and why it might be the hidden culprit behind your exhaustion, stubborn weight, and your mood swings. Now, this isn't about guilt. It's about understanding. Because when you finally see the connection between your everyday symptoms and what's going on underneath the surface, everything changes. If you listen to my last episode, you know that I actually had an episode for sugar and insulin recorded, not just written out, but actually recorded. I was editing it. I was ready to publish it. And then I threw it in the trash. That's because as I was going through, I kept adding to the outline and my notes of things to talk about. And I was just like, oh, there's this connection and there's this connection, and remember what it does over here, and remember how it acts over here, and oh, remember how it causes this thing. And I just kept adding and adding, and I was like, oh, this is so good. But then as I was listening back to it, getting ready to publish it, I was like, whoa. If this is the first time that you're making all these connections with sugar and insulin and its effects on the body, that's a lot to take in, and something was just not sitting right in my spirit. And ultimately, I decided this is too much, and this is really not serving my friends and fellow tired mamas well, because all this information really doesn't do anything for us. Yes, it helps us make the connections, and I want to do that with you today because I think making the connections between what's going on and the root causes, which is why we're doing the series, is important because it helps us actually say, yes, I understand that connection, and now I have a course of action. Now I have something tangible that I can focus on and use to heal my body, because now I understand this root cause, this thing that's really controlling my issues from the background, things that I didn't even recognize. And so that's why I'm passionate about doing this with you and doing this series. And I would love to know if you guys are enjoying the series. Is it too much information? Is it like, wow, so many facts, I really don't care, just tell me what to do? Or are you like, oh my gosh, this has opened my eyes to some underlying things that I've even maybe noticed about myself or maybe somebody around me. And I think that this is really encouraging, and I don't have all the answers and maybe I don't have the full picture of what I need to do, but I am starting to understand my body more through this series. So I would love to hear your feedback. Let me know. What are you thinking about this? Because ultimately, I want to serve you guys. I want to show up and have conversations that are helpful and productive and that serve you and where you're at right now. You can send me an email. My information is in the podcast details, or you can find me on social media on Facebook under Chava Wellness, or you can also go to my website, chavawellness.com. And there is a link for the podcast. You can contact me and leave me a message about the podcast. You can either submit a written comment or a question if there's something that you want me to talk about in the future, or you can leave me a voice message too, whether it's a question or a comment. So whatever method is easiest for you to reach out to me, I would love to hear from you and make sure that I'm providing content that's valuable and helpful for you in your real life mom life. So today, besides making these connections with what's going on in your body and obviously identifying the root cause of some of your symptoms, I also want to talk about the real life what's going on. Sugar has physical implications to our health. It does steal our energy, and ultimately it'll make weight loss absolutely impossible if you're dealing with any level of insulin resistance. But also, the really big thing is that as moms, we use sugar as an emotional coping tool, and there's nothing to be ashamed about that. We first need to recognize that, hey, being a mom is awesome and it's hard too. You wake up already tired. Coffee is your lifeline. You're rushing through the morning, grabbing something sweet with your caffeine just to kickstart your day. And a few hours later, you're starving, irritable, maybe shaky, and reaching for another quick fix, whether that's the caffeine or the sugar. You make it through the day on caffeine, snacks, and survival, and then the evening hits. The kids are finally in bed. You're wiped, but you reward yourself with a little treat. Maybe a bowl of ice cream or a few leftover cookies, and you tell yourself, I deserve this. Oh, after the day that I have had, I have earned this treat. Here's what was true for me for years. I was eating sugar first thing in the morning in my coffee and finishing my day with sugar at night, as well as whatever sugar found its way into my diet throughout the day. And honestly, I didn't think I had a sugar problem. I wasn't binging. I was just trying to cope. And honestly, I was looking for little moments of joy and a boost of energy throughout my day. But I had no idea how much those habits were sabotaging my energy, my sleep, my focus, my weight, and really my mood. It wasn't until I started changing those small things gently and slowly that I realized just how much insulin resistance had been playing a role in how awful I felt every single day. If you had asked me if I had insulin resistance, I would have said definitely not. That wasn't a thing that was in the least concerning to me or that I was concerned that I had. I would also tell you that I've been to the doctor and I was tested for diabetes because it runs in my family, and my tests always came back perfectly fine. So insulin resistance wasn't something that I ever even suspected in the least about my health. And it definitely wasn't something that I was trying to focus on, other than maybe cutting out sugar so I could lose weight. But when I got really serious about my health, really serious because I was really desperate, I decided I had read some material that talked about the effect and importance of addressing insulin resistance when you're trying to lose weight. And I thought, whatever, sure, I'll try it. I'll throw it in there, see what happens. What could it hurt? Hopefully it'll help me lose weight. And the results were so profound. Once I realized how good I could feel, I started to realize that insulin resistance had actually been a background issue for me for a long time. And of course, If you've heard me talk about the wellness scale, I was experiencing some level of insulin resistance, but I was not sick enough to test positive on a test. So essentially, what the doctors were saying were, nothing's wrong with you. So go home and wait till you feel bad enough. When you are sick enough, come back and then you can test positive for diabetes and then we can help you. And ultimately, when I took my health into my own hands, I realized, oh, dang, I was experiencing insulin resistance and I had no idea. Most people think that insulin resistance has nothing to do with their underlying health struggles. Hello, me. However, funnily enough, there are a lot of people who swear by something that you may have seen on social media called their pink drink that helps them feel light, energetic, and amazing. Now, I've never tried the Plexus brand pink drink, but one day I got really curious about why people were raving about it. Honestly, I just thought it was an electrolyte, and you know that I'm a huge fan of electrolytes, and I think they make a really big difference in our health. So I thought that that's just what it was, but I went to go check it out, and it turns out it's not an electrolyte at all. The main ingredient is designed to help you manage insulin resistance. Hello! No wonder ladies feel great on this drink. Now, I'm all for products if they make things enjoyable and convenient for you. However, I never want anyone to feel like their health is dependent upon affording a product. So let's keep going so you can feel more equipped to steward your health in every season. Let's talk about some of the real life symptoms of insulin resistance. Even if your labs are normal, your body might be screaming for help. Insulin resistance can show up like mid-morning or mid-afternoon crashes, cravings you can't explain, trouble losing weight, especially around your belly, waking up between 2 and 4 a.m., feeling exhausted and wired at the same time, or needing sugar or carbs to keep functioning. The thing is that it's not a willpower problem. It's a blood sugar problem. And once we support that, your body starts to feel amazing again. But before we talk about what to do about it, let's talk about the root reason moms rely on sugar. Here's something we don't talk about enough. Sugar is a coping tool. We turn to it when we're exhausted, overstimulated, anxious, or feeling low. Sugar offers us a quick boost, whether it's energy, comfort, or that little hit of pleasure when everything else feels overwhelming. But here's the hard truth, mama. Many of the struggles we're trying to fix with sugar are actually being caused or worsened by sugar. Things like exhaustion, anxiety or low mood, brain fog or poor memory, and feeling cranky or just struggling to be patient with your family. It's a trap. And not because you're doing something wrong, but because your body is trying to soothe itself in the only way it knows how. But if we want to break out of that cycle, we have to do more than just cut the sugar. We have to find new sources of support. There's a physical aspect to it, of course, but there's also emotional and spiritual support that's needed too. And that starts with finding little moments of calm, little moments with God. And I know as a mom, you might be thinking, that feels so impossible right now. And that's okay, because here's what I've seen. When your blood sugar starts to stabilize, you begin to find capacity again. Maybe you'll have more energy to get up early and read your Bible. Maybe you'll feel more patient with your kids, or maybe even enough to go for a short walk or do a gentle workout. And when you get there, those things, they help curb cravings emotionally and physically. Healing isn't about restriction. It's about giving your body and soul what they've truly been asking for all along. So let's start with some everyday habits that keep you stuck. First of all, starting the day with sugar, like cereal or those leftover desserts that were sitting on the table, pumpkin pie, ice cream, cookies. Or if you're not eating breakfast, that's fine. But if you're putting sugar in your coffee first thing in the morning, if that's the first thing that's hitting your system, that's a problem. Also, ending the day with sugar, like having dessert right before bed, which I was guilty of for many, many years, and I can easily get back into that bad habit if I'm not careful. Also, eating carbs without pairing them with protein or fat, snacking all day and skipping real meals, and using sugar to push through stress or exhaustion. Mamas, these things are so easy to do as tired, overstimulated, anxious moms just trying to make it through the day. But none of this makes you bad. It just makes you human. But your body was designed for stability, not chaos. And healing starts when we give it that. Let's talk a little bit about how this shows up in your whole body. When blood sugar and insulin are out of balance, it's not just about cravings or weight gain. It affects everything. Sugar goes through your digestive system really fast. And believe it or not, your liver is one of the huge areas that is actually in charge of processing sugar. And too much sugar equals liver overwhelm. Over time, this can lead to fatty liver disease, poor detox, and hormonal imbalances. In your gut, sugar feeds the bad gut bacteria, which sends signals to your brain asking for more sugar. This creates a vicious cycle of cravings and poor digestion. Your sleep is also affected. A sugary bedtime snack or high cortisol from sugar crashes can wake you up in the middle of the night, usually around 2 a.m., and ultimately prevent your body from entering a deep healing sleep. Not only are you going to miss out on deep sleep, but you're also going to be missing out on that deepest level of healing that your body does at night. Your stress is also really affected. Sugar spikes equals cortisol spikes. Cortisol is that stress hormone. So your nervous system between the two gets stuck in a fight or flight system, leaving you wired, but edgy, and completely burned out. Last is your hormones. Insulin is a hormone, and it blocks fat burning hormones like growth hormone and glycogen. So when insulin is constantly high, it stores fat and it prevents your body from burning it, even if you're eating well and exercising. Mamas, you cannot lose weight and ignore your sugar intake or even your underlying issue of insulin resistance. It also interferes with estrogen, making it less effective, and it slows your thyroid hormone conversion and stresses the adrenal glands. Ultimately, all of this can lead to sluggish metabolism, mood swings, low energy, and even PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian system. And in a lot of medical circles, it's actually being referred to as type 3 diabetes because of its strong link to insulin resistance. So I'm not going to get into all the nitty-gritty details of how those things work in the body because that's just a little too much right now. We'll have more conversations about this and get into the details. If you have a specific question or if you're like, hey, can you elaborate on that? Please go on my website, chavawellness.com, and go to the podcast tab, ask a question, and let me know what you're wondering so that I can address that specific thing. Let's move on and talk a little bit about fasting. So here's the thing. If you've ever tried fasting and you felt dizzy, shaky, nauseous, or completely out of it, there's a reason for that. And often it's a sign of insulin resistance. When your cells are resistant to insulin, your body doesn't access stored energy efficiently. So when you go too long without food, your system panics. It can't tap into what it's stored. But here's the thing. You were created to fast. In Matthew 6, verses 16 to 17, it says, "When you fast, do not look somber as the hypocrites do. But when you fast, put oil on your head and wash your face." So the important thing here is that it's saying, when you fast, God had times when he told the Israelites to fast. And we're going to talk about that more in the fasting episode. But the thing is that it doesn't say if you fast, it says when you fast. And fasting is often thought of as a spiritual practice, and it is. But here's the thing, God's purposes are always multifaceted, and he created the body to benefit from fasting, just like he created our spirit to benefit from fasting too. And ultimately, it does both. I know that for years I would go to church and they would call for fasts and I wouldn't participate because even though I had a desire to spiritually, I knew that my body could not handle fasting. And it wasn't just about being hungry and fighting through the hunger. It was about the fact that I would feel so awful that I wouldn't be able to function. Like I would have to lay on the couch and be sick. Dinner wouldn't get made. The kids wouldn't be taken care of. Literally nothing was going to happen because I would be so sick. And I just knew that that wasn't something that I could really put my family through. And so I just wouldn't fast. It wasn't until years later that I would figure out that, well, one, I needed electrolytes, but two, insulin resistance was operating in the background of my life and preventing me from not only not being able to fast and receive the physical benefits of that, but it kept me from the spiritual benefits too. And so when I started addressing my insulin resistance, it actually made me more capable of fasting. And the more I was able to fast, the better my insulin resistance got too. The good news is that when you do it the right way, intermittent fasting can help restore insulin sensitivity. It gives your body a break from constant sugar spikes and it lets your cells start responding again. And it's so healing. So here's some advice that helped me to get started. Number one is don't start or end a fast with sugar. That means don't eat sugar first thing in the morning and don't let it be the last thing that you're eating at night. If you need to eat sugar, girl, there's a time to do it and there's a time not to do it, okay? But keep it away from the first and the last part of your day because your fasting is what you're doing overnight. And that's a really gentle way to start. Also, if you're going to extend your fast beyond just when you're sleeping, start with something gentle like a 12 to 14 hour fast. So just for example, if you're starting with a 12-hour fast, that would be like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., you can eat. So you're not eating before 9 a.m. and you're not eating after 9 p.m. That would be a 12-hour fast, and that would be a really gentle way to start. And then when you're doing that well, then start to extend it. Do 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and that would be a 14-hour fast. And start to slowly increase your time like that. Not only will it be gentle on your system, but it'll feel doable and you can ease yourself into the process of fasting. Okay, number 3 is focus on food quality first. So instead of thinking, I can't eat sugar, I can't eat sugar, I can't eat sugar, when you know that you're craving it because you're trying to ease your body into a state of not relying on it as much, what you need to think of is, okay, first, I need to eat some protein, some healthy fats, and some fiber-rich veggies. Eat a really good quality meal, even if it's in the middle of the day. And once you've eaten something really good, your protein, healthy fats, and fiber, those veggies, nutrient-dense veggies in your body, then go ahead and have that treat. In fact, the middle of the day after a good quality meal is honestly the best time of day to eat a treat if you're going to, and that's often what I do as well. So if you're stuck on, I cannot give up my ice cream, move it from eating it at night right before bed to eating it in the middle of the day. The last is avoid sugary breakfast. Yes, even sweet coffee creamers count, okay? Do not let the first thing that touches your tongue be sugar. You gotta get something good into your body, and then if you need the sugar, then eat it then, but don't let it be the first thing that breaks your fast, because let me tell you, not only will it set you up for energy crashes, but it'll set you up for cravings, and it will put your body into a system that holds on to your weight and will absolutely refuse to let go of it. I want to leave you with this final encouragement. Mama, you are not broken and you're not weak because you can't resist sugar on sheer willpower. And mama, you're definitely not alone. You've just been stuck in a cycle your body doesn't know how to break yet. But now you have some insight, and that's the first step. I hope that I gave you just enough information today to empower you to move forward and not to get stuck in information overwhelm, but to know, hey, if I can start to manage my sugar intake, I can make a huge stride in my health, my energy, and even my mood on a daily basis. Now, if you are ready to go deeper and you're like, hey, I recognize that this is really important and I'm ready to get my health in check. I want to dive in. I'm ready to go all in right now. Then I want you to go check out my Live Healthy Mama course, and I will walk you through an effective but gentle plan that honors your real mom life to help you step by step learn how to stabilize your blood sugar, support your hormones, and rebuild your energy in a sustainable, grace-filled way. Whether you love understanding the why or you just want to show up and have someone tell you what to do, I've got you. You were created for wellness, and it starts with small shifts that add up to big change. You can do this, mama. We're doing it together. In the next episode, we're diving into sleep. Why? Because it's more than just fatigue and fog. We'll talk about how deep restorative sleep is one of the most powerful tools for hormone balance, detox, and cellular repair. Plus, how it's almost impossible to lose weight without a good night's sleep. Mama, you can't afford to stay stuck in this mode of constant exhaustion. Until then, breathe deep and remember you were created for wellness. I'll see you next time. Mama, I hope this episode blessed you and reminded you that you were beautifully and uniquely made to thrive. If today's conversation spoke to your heart, I'd love for you to take a moment to leave a rating and review. Not only does it encourage me, but it helps more tired mamas discover the hope, healing, and energy they've been searching for. You're not in this alone. Make sure to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. Together, we'll reclaim your energy, renew your health, and revive your spirit, one step at a time. Until next time, remember, you are beautifully designed by God to live with energy, clarity, and joy. You're not just surviving, mama. You're stepping into the vibrant life you were created for. I'm cheering you on.